Here in the U.S., a year after a white supremacist rally and counter-protest turned deadly, the city of Charlottesville braces for violence. A state of emergency is now in effect. Smaller demonstrations have already taken place, as well as ceremonies to honor the victims. All of this ahead of larger rallies planned here in the nation's capital on Sunday. CGTN's Roee Ruttenberg reports.
More than 1,000 police officers are now patrolling the streets of Charlottesville. They were criticized last year for not being adequately prepared. The city's police chief says no violence will be tolerated this time around, but she's not taking any chances. And already some counter-protests, some anti-fascists have shown up in Charlottesville. Pedestrian areas have already been blocked off from traffic, so no vehicle access. And just days ago, Virginia's governor declared a state of emergency across the state that allows him to more easily deploy resources as needed. Now, the University of Virginia on Saturday held a service of reflection to mark 1 year since the Unite the Right rally. There's a lot of focus on Heather Heyer. She's the 32-year-old woman who came out to protest against the white nationalists and was killed after the march when a speeding car rammed the crowd. Heyer's mother said her legacy should serve as a call to action. Now, we should note that city officials denied the organizers of last year's march a permit request to hold the Unite the Right 2 rally in Charlottesville. But the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. did allow them, so that will happen on Sunday near the White House. Hundreds of white nationalists are expected to take part, and around 2,000 counter-protesters are also expected to attend counter-rallies nearby. Now, last year, Donald Trump chimed in after Charlottesville, some people say adding fuel to the fire. He said, quote, "There are fine people on both sides and that both sides were to blame." Some say explosive language, and they accuse the president of suggesting a moral equivalence between racist white nationalist protesters and those trying to stop them. Critics said Trump had an opportunity as president to unite the country and instead exacerbated the racial divide. On Saturday, the president was tweeting about it all. He wrote, "The riots in Charlottesville a year ago resulted in senseless death and division. We must come together as a nation. I condemn all types of racism and acts of violence. Peace to all Americans." Already some are saying that wording, "I condemn all types of racism," is really a nod to the Unite the Right protesters who say they are marching against anti-white racism. Roee Ruttenberg, CGTN in Washington.